If they got Capone, they can get you too. But if you're interested in becoming a professional musician and really organizing this business, these are some things I'm not a tax professional. Please talk to a CPA, talk to a tax attorney, or somebody who knows what they're talking about for your specific situation. What I'm talking about is just some ideas of organizing yourself so that you can talk intelligently to those people and they can give you the best results possible. And the first thing I want to say is have a spreadsheet of your income and expenses. And listen, literally almost on a daily basis, I use all the big three spreadsheet programs, Excel and Google Sheets and Numbers. And as much as it pains me to say this, as a dyed-in-the-wool Apple sheep, Google Sheets seems to just be the best platform. You can use it in browser. They got the mobile app, works really well on the phone, as well as the iPad, and of course the Mac. But put a tab for your expenses and make a tab for your income. And track that over the course of the year. Don't be scrounging around at the end of the year right before tax time trying to figure out, how much did I make and how much did I spend and what's going on with the business. Keep yourself organized. Now, you might have apps like QuickBooks or something like that, and that's fine. But I think for a vast majority of gigging musicians, you may not, first of all, be able to afford that expense, right? That's another subscription on top of all the other subscriptions that you have. And I understand that, and I don't know how necessary it is, especially in the beginning, because the reality is there's not a lot of invoicing, and the few invoices that you make, you can find templates in these spreadsheet with that software, and you probably don't need the expense and the complication of some of those other softwares. To me, I'm just keeping spreadsheets. If I get to that point where I want to go for an accounting software, I might decide that later on. But working in the business world and seeing some of the just utter disasters of accounting software, sometimes a simple spreadsheet is really all you need. Now, I would take the time to classify your expenses, whether you want to use codes or plain English. I think plain English is fine. So have a column where you classify what type of expense it is. Is it education? Is it marketing, right? So is it education? You bought coaching or you bought a course to teach you how to do X, Y, or Z. You bought a website, a host, and a domain, right? Those are marketing costs, right? If Facebook ads, those are marketing costs. Or equipment costs. Right? So you bought a new guitar, bought a microphone, you bought a PA system. Now, again, talk to a tax professional for this, but oftentimes if it's your first year in business, you can declare up to $5,000. That's going to change year to year. You can claim a portion of startup costs, but generally with equipment, instruments, and things, you're going to have to amortize that. Again, that's where you really need, a tax lawyer, a CPA, somebody of that nature to kind of walk you through that so you don't get yourself jammed up. Don't get yourself jammed up. Have all of that organized. Travel expenses is another one, especially if you're touring across the country. Hotels and van rentals and, fuel, all of that stuff. Make sure you keep track of those costs. And then at the end of the year, you may go to your CPA and he may say, well, you can't really declare that, but we can take this off. But even if you can't write it off on your taxes, it's important to know what you're actually putting out for your business versus what you're actually getting in, no matter what tax stuff you have to deal with. So just make sure you get very used to tracking all of your costs. The second thing is mileage. So things can get weird. It's certainly, you can put your car under your LLC and then amortize the depreciation and then you can do all of that. But you have to then subtract personal use out of that if you're using that car to go to the grocery store or for personal reasons. So unless you can afford to lease a car only to get you to gigs. I definitely use mileage. I think that's the best situation for me. Again, talk to a CPA to find the best situation for you. But yeah, I have one vehicle and I keep track of my mileage. So to do that, it's it's an easy deduction because it's such a provable deduction, right? You can go on the Google Maps and see where you went, but don't depend on that. Like, actually keep track of your mileage. And again, I would have a third tab in your spreadsheet. You have a tab for expenses, a tab for income, and then a tab for mileage. Okay, now, so take that mileage, you put the venue that you're going to, the date, blah, blah, your mileage in, mileage to, mileage when you leave, mileage when you get back, and then what the actual number of miles you spent on that trip. Definitely, I would have a column for the venue you're going to, right? Write that name down. And again, Google Sheets right on your phone. So easy to do. I mean, there's Miles IQ and things. Again, there's software that you can pay for, and I'm sure there's some free software out there. But you can just use a spreadsheet and then set up formulas to calculate that for you. Then total that up, and boy, that's like I said, for me at least, it's an easy, simple deduction that's going to be easy to prove to an auditor. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about is equipment and guitars, and I kind of alluded to that, and I'll give you just an example of something that I looked at this tax season. So I bought 3 guitars this year, and I'm very happy with my 3 guitars last year. I love those guitars. I bought my Rickenbacker, which I've always wanted a Rickenbacker, and now I have it, and I absolutely love it. Spoiler alert, we'll do a review on that in the future. And then I bought my Iris. Again, we're going to do a review on that in the future. Love that guitar. And then I bought my Taylor T5Z. That will be another review. But out of those 3 guitars, really the only one I used extensively for business this year, because my business was almost all gigging this year, was the T5Z. And so trying to claim any kind of depreciation or startup cost with the Rickenbacker and the Iris, I think was really going to be tough to do this year. So I didn't do it, and I didn't include those in in the costs of the business. Whether that was a right or wrong decision, you got to look at your own specific use cases and talk to somebody who really knows what they're doing. But so while it's easy, I'll buy this as a write-off, right? Just write everything off. Well, what's a write-off? I don't know. It's a write-off. You write it off, right? There's that meme that goes around about that where everything's a write-off. Well, everything's a write-off is going to get you in trouble real quick with the IRS. So just be tactical with the gear you buy. And man, being in business has really changed the way I look at gear. I still love gear. This channel is still going to be doing a lot of gear stuff because I love it. But it has really made me think about what gear I actually need to make money and what gear I just kind of like. And so that's probably going to be another video that we talk about because it's something that's been in my brain. But be careful and make sure you're really, if the IRS comes to you and says, well, how did this help you in your business? Just again, talk to a tax professional and be careful about what you're writing off and whatnot. Be tactical, be careful, but more important about write-offs, be tactical about what gear you purchase for your business and what gear you choose not to purchase. Don't just spend money on gear willy-nilly. Thank you very much for watching. Links below to some of my music if you want to hear my music, and drop me a message on social media or on my website if you want to book me and you're in the kind of the Northeast area of the United States. Click like and subscribe and all the YouTube stuff. And remember, it is always about the song. Peace.